Try to remember your first birthday? You can't. Try to remember learning to walk? You can't do that either. Thousands of moments happen to you in your first few years, and every single one is gone. But the real reason is stranger than simple forgetting. Your brain didn't lose those memories. It never filed them away in the first place. This gap has a name. Scientists call it infantile amnesia. It's why almost no one remembers anything before the age of 3 or 4. For over a century, nobody could explain why. Sigmund Freud was the first to name it, back in the early 1900s. He thought children repressed their earliest memories because they were too emotionally overwhelming. It sounded compelling. It was also almost entirely wrong. The real answer had to wait for neuroscience to catch up. Deep in your skull sits a small curved structure called the hippocampus. Think of it as your brain's filing clerk. It doesn't store memories permanently, it tags them, links them, and files them into long-term storage elsewhere. Without a working filing clerk, experiences pass through you and leave nothing behind. Here's the twist. In infants, that filing clerk hasn't finished training yet. Psychologist Patricia Bauer found that the hippocampus keeps growing new neurons at a rapid pace throughout early childhood. That sounds like it should mean better memory. It's actually the opposite. A landmark study by neuroscientists Paul Franklin and Sheena Jocelyn found that this flood of new neurons may actually overwrite and disrupt memory circuits before they can stabilize. The infant brain is rewiring itself so fast it can't hold a memory still long enough to keep it. Your earliest self wasn't failing to remember. Your earliest self was too busy being built. Does that mean babies have no memory at all? Not quite. Researcher Carolyn Rovee-Collier showed that infants as young as 3 months old can retain simple memories, like kicking a mobile to make it move, for days or weeks. The machinery for memory exists early on. What's missing is the specific kind of memory you're trying to recall right now. Psychologists call it autobiographical memory. Not just remembering that something happened, but remembering that it happened to you at a particular place, on a particular day, as part of the ongoing story of your life. That kind of memory needs something else. It needs language. Psychologist Carole Peterson has spent years studying how children narrate their own past. She found that kids only begin forming lasting autobiographical memories once they can talk about events as a story, with a beginning, a sequence, and an ending. Before language, an experience is just a flash of sensation. After language, it becomes something your brain can index and retrieve. So your first memory isn't your first experience. It's your first experience your brain knew how to write down. Here's where it gets stranger. Even memories that survive infantile amnesia keep shifting after they're formed. Peterson also found that children's earliest memories change dramatically over just a few years, with whole scenes shifting, merging, or vanishing well into elementary school. That memory of being 4 at the beach might really be a memory of the story your parents told about the beach. Your brain can't always tell the difference between something that happened and something it was told happened. It just knows a story exists and treats it as true. Think about that the next time you're completely certain of an old memory. There's a strange kind of relief hidden in all of this. The years you can't remember weren't wasted. They were the years your brain was under construction, rewiring itself faster than at any other point in your life, laying down the language, the emotional patterns, and the sense of self everything afterward would be built on. You weren't absent from your own beginning. You were simply too busy becoming a person to also be an archivist of the process. And this isn't just trivia about toddlers. It says something about how memory works in you right now. Every memory you have, even from yesterday, goes through this same filing process. Sleep, focus, repetition, emotional weight, all of it decides whether an experience gets tagged and filed or quietly discarded. Your brain has never stopped deciding what's worth keeping. It just used to make that decision without asking you. So next time someone asks why you don't remember your first steps, your first word, the first time you saw snow, you can tell them the truth. Those moments weren't too small to matter. The version of you standing there just hadn't finished building the tool it would need to hold on to them. Try to remember your first birthday. You still can't. But now you know why, and it has nothing to do with what you lost, and everything to do with who you were still becoming.